scan this? Now. The slides as a PDF for you to reflect on them with your team. I don't know. All right. Can I hit it already because we're a bit late? Yes, go, go, go. All right. So, how was Vox Days? How was it? Yay! Free day! Yeah! Good. All right. So, for the closing of this conference, we're going to talk about the factors, the psychological factors that come into play in our life as developers, as leads. Mouse. Mouse? Mouse. As developers, as leads, and as architects. I'm going to try to take them from the ones that we experienced in the beginning of our career until retirement. Good. So, my name is Victor, 18 years of coding, and I was a technical lead for 7 projects at IBM. For 10 years, I'm doing training for 150 companies. That's why it's white here. 100 conference talks on YouTube, and I have a community, European Software Crafters, who in the room is part of this community. Proudly raise your hand. Thank you very much. How is it in the community? We have these events once a month, more or less, and there are way smarter people than me that attend and argue with me about very interesting topics, I like to think. And I also have a life. This is me with my daughter skiing this year. Good. Who of you here has ever felt unqualified for the task that you were given? Raise your hand, please, and look around you. Look around you just a bit. Look around you. That's like 80% of people raised your hand, and we have here in the room some of the best developers in Romania. All right? Good. I have no idea what I'm doing, but everyone else thinks you're doing great. What is the name for this effect? Come on. Imposter syndrome, okay? It is arguably the most common psychological issue, we could say, in computer science, because things change every day. Monday and Tuesday, I had a workshop with data engineers at a very big e-commerce platform. You all are using it. And one guy told me that what he learned 5 years ago today is 100% obsolete. He had to relearn absolutely everything. Also, the job description you read online or LinkedIn, you do know they are bullshit, yes? Okay, good. They ask of us to be superhero, okay. Also, the Instagram depression style. You look at code that slides and in demo, you watch Josh Long building microservices in 40 minutes, and then you get depressed. And then, oh shit, and then looking, no, that's not reality, just show, okay? Of course, filters, that's just filters. Nothing more. And also, you might be not unlucky to work in environments that make it hard for newcomers to join, like elitism. I worked with one guy that told me that in a C++ project, he became autonomous after 3 years. He could implement a task by himself after 3 years, C++. All right, so my father used to tell me that the more you know, the more surface you have with the unknown. So the more you will see how stupid, how less you know, how little you know. So this imposter syndrome is not getting away, it's getting even worse. That's why in the room, 80% is there. The guy is like, yeah! Yesterday, I was like, good. So we have to accept it, that's why I wanted you to raise your hand, it's everywhere around us. Celebrate the little wins, of course. You learn something new. Yay! Enjoy it. Champagne, drink. I don't know. Do your stuff, right? Put the music, dance, whatever. Also, the most sustainable way to get over anxiety, it is known to be social contact, talking with people. Even better, sharing what you know, which is going to both test your knowledge and also build confidence, right? When you take up the last junior that joined the company and you teach something basic, do you know that switch can be an expression? Ooh, and the guy is like, oh! Suddenly it's much, okay? Of course. And there's something else you want to keep in mind. The stuff we know in such a volatile, knowledge-intensive domain is obsolete in 3 years. That's why I'm not proud of the video recordings I did for workshops years ago, because they are obsolete. I don't agree with myself 3 years ago. I don't agree with myself, okay? So things change so fast, so that it's more important how fast you learn something new than the stuff you know. You heard the guys before saying something similar, all right? Good. We need to abandon this refactoring, this refeature, this prototype. What would the developer say? That has lost time and emotions, all right, alone in his living room building that beautiful rewrite of that monolith, and then it all goes bananas. Of course, because we get attached. We call this irrational artifact attachment. We get attached to things. And that's a problem. In business, it's called sunk cost fallacy. I worked so hard on it. Do you see the tears in the eyes? How can I just abandon? And I was alone in the living room, lacking social contact. My only comfort during the night was this project that you're now throwing out onto the toilet. Toilet? Excellent. Anyone here in the room had such a traumatic break? Yeah, Stefan! Excellent, excellent. That's what got me into training 8 years ago. 2 years of my work to the toilet. I'm still going to therapy. Okay. Your problem is what you want to fall in love with is not the code you wrote, but the problem-solving skill in general, right? The trail, not the destination, is what should drive you. Problem-solving, not the actual jar file you have created. Last week, someone told me, hey, but this code that you are now touching, they let me in remote desktop in their production code. And I was doing a workshop in Clean Code, and they shared their desktop, and I click 3 times. I landed in a class, and I started refactoring, and one of them panicked. Wait, this is Darian's code. I'm not sure if you met Darian. All right. Now, 25 years ago, we know that we should think of code as collective ownership, like it is our code, not Darian's code. Probably, very often, Darian is smarter than you. Probably, he's smarter than you. I mean, but even though he's smarter than you, what is the effect that this attitude produces in the team? Why does Darian not like us to change his code? Is it that he thinks we are more stupid than he? And inevitably, you think that, right? You are, but doesn't matter. The problem is, it produces a toxic environment in the team. What would you say at a code review if code comes in like this? A code review, have the code review, pull request. Pull request, spaces here. What would you say about these 2 spaces? First of all. What would you say about these 2? Oh, I'm sorry. Focus first here. Reject. Wrong. Bad. Try again. I'm not sure I'm going to challenge much, honestly, these 2 spaces. But it's a completely different story for the brace put on the next line. Oh, and we will fight for hours and days with a guy. True story. Satellite business, Canada, have a client in which they put code like this with the brace on I could not read their code. My brain refused to read their code. Could not get into my brain, right? But I had to adapt because I couldn't just reformat the whole code because then 25 people won't understand what they were looking at. Right? Shit! And for 3 days, my God. The more trivial the topic, the more debates around it. In psychology, we call this bike shedding from an anecdote of a committee that has decided where to put the nuclear power plant in 45 minutes, but they argued, in 5 minutes, but they argued for 45 where to put the bikes. It's an anecdote, it didn't happen, but it's fun to realize that the more stupid the problem, the more people can have an opinion. Fun. I want to tell you a story now. Jack and his friend go to the forest each day to chop wood. They go to the office, to the forest at 9 o'clock. They chop wood for 8 hours, and then at 5 they go back home. Day by day, Jack at noon disappears for 1 hour. But despite the fact that he's not at in the forest 1 hour, he chops more wood by the end of the day. Jack's friend asks him one day, where do you go that hour? What do you do? And how come that you chop more wood than me despite that? Where do you think Jack was going? Sleeping? Toilet? Sharpening his axe. If you look at the office hours, it might seem that Jack works less, but he ships more value at the end of the day. So what is that all about? It's about improving your skill, correct? You know this, sharpening the axe. It's an old story. Now, I will be brutal on you and I will tell you that I have 150 companies, right? I've been everywhere. In Romania, more than half of the companies I work with, they grant 1 day for learning every sprint, every month, or every quarter, depending on how lucky you are. I'm not going to ask you to raise hands because it's not fair, but I know that half of the companies grant this day to the developers. You are supposed to do what with that day? Not sleep. Although if you are destroyed, who knows? Sharpen your skills, right? Automate some stuff that keeps annoying you, right? Study some fundamentals you feel you're missing, right? Despite that, developers don't know about the day, and if they know about the day, they use it to fix more bugs or finish a feature. If you use that day to finish a feature, you are stealing from your boss. This is robbery. The boss gave you that time to improve, not to fix more bugs. You're supposed to increase your speed, your skill, not invest in, right? So if you do have that day, ask around. You might have it, you might not know about it. If there is, the higher management understands that. It's just, sometimes it's the developers who don't accept that, who don't use that. When I go to teach outside of Romania, every single time, the people in the group, they barely let me finish because they have questions, because they know that they come with an agenda in the workshop. I swear to you, with a notepad, what do I want to learn today? Shit, no Romanian guy has ever done that to a workshop. But they come with an agenda. I want to hear about this. Damn it. They take learning seriously because they know they are learning for themselves. Right? In Romania, I have to open mouth, open wide, and then knowledge. It's a reason why Western countries are... Okay, so you get hired, bravo. You are a developer, implementing a task from A to B. Hey, boss, what do I have to do? Okay. Years pass by, you study hard, and you become a senior engineer who is able to solve a problem, correct? But then you get promoted. You get promoted to a technical lead, and you have no clue what awaits you. You don't have a clue what you've been offered to do. That technically, when you become a lead, you are not responsible for the people. I know you, any people manager in the room? People manager. Okay. Okay. Few of you, as you see, are responsible mainly for the people. But if you are a lead, who is a tech lead? Technical lead of a team. Tech lead. More hands. You guys are also having this other thing to do, to care for the people, right? And even if you are not the tech lead, if you are the senior in the team, right? People are hard, right? Interruptions are draining. You have to attend calls. You have to, If you have a problem, it's your problem. If something goes well, it's the merit of your team. You see, so basically, anyone can become a tech lead just as well as anyone can become a parent. But some refuse to do it, and others should not do it. Should not do it, right? They tricked me into becoming a tech lead. If I knew, never. If I knew what I was going into, oh my God. And another story I want to give you, because stories is what stick in the brain. There is a story about a barista. And anyone here has been ever to a Four Seasons hotel? Very expensive shit. I'm a freelance, I can afford. I went to this Four Seasons hotel, fantastic hotel, great hotel. Absolutely great hotel, but it was great not because of the fancy beds. Any hotel can go buy some fancy beds. No, it was great because of the people that worked there. If you walked by the hallway and someone said hello to you, then you know that they really meant it. They did not say hello because someone told them to say hello to all the guests. You felt really cared for. In the lobby of this hotel, there is this coffee stand, and there is a barista by the name Jim. You go to Jim, and Jim is fantastic. Jim is great. Jim is amazing. Jim is able to make your day superb. First thing in the morning, screw breakfast, let's go to Jim. And we had a coffee at Jim, and Jim was absolutely expansive and super, super nice. And I asked Jim, do you love your job? Immediately he replied, I love my job, of course. But then I asked, what is it that Four Seasons is doing so that you tell me that you love your job? And he said, managers pass by me each day, and they come to me and they ask, Jim, are you okay? Is there anything you need to do your job better? And they ask me this, not just my manager, any manager, they come and ask me this. But then he followed up, hey, I also work part-time at another hotel down the street, and their managers try to make sure we do the right thing. They go hunt, try to catch us doing the wrong thing. When I go there to work, I like, he said, to keep my head low. Just wait for the day to pass by so that I can get my paycheck. But here at Four Seasons, I can be myself. And a tear in my, what the hell, really? So you see, if we usually say that the problem is hiring the right people, getting the right people in the team, and then you're going to do great. But it's moreover about the environment you are able to create. You as a manager, as a lead, should be there with a very important skill, empathy. You should be caring for those in your responsibility. You are not in charge of the people, you are responsible for the people. I remember my first boss, I was working for Kepler, used to bring us coverage, bagels, every time code coverage percentage went up. That's why I always say coverage. The point was, he was serving us, right? Hey, do you want a tea? Do you want some hot chocolate? Right? He knew what each of us would like. This is a true leader, the one that really cares for the people, right? So you want to make sure you create this proper environment. Now, have you ever tried to ask a question, but you didn't? I want to tell you, that's not going to happen. Why didn't you ask? Perhaps you thought, like a good communist, post-communist citizen, that they would be asking, you didn't ask perhaps because you thought, what would they say of me? Or who am I to disturb the elder? Right? And sometimes it's actually hard to formulate the question. Anyone in the room here, at the moment they wanted to articulate the question, they already solved the problem? Trying to speak it out to someone, it's half solved, right? But then if there's this barrier for asking questions, you're dead, right? So it should be safe to ask questions. So you should practice the following. You should practice these magic words. I don't know. And on the other side, if the senior, maybe, he would reply, me either. But you know what? Let's find out together. Have you ever Googled or ChatGPTing with someone next to you to show them how to Google, what to look for? It's a very important skill, finding information. Let's search together. This will both break the myth that the senior knows everything, and also teach the junior a very important skill. How the heck do I Google for information? What should I trust? What is that star, that number next to the star in GitHub? Oh, is how good that library is. I did not know that. Ooh, and so on. Or practice this question. Can I help? Go to your team and ask. You know when is the best time to ask people if they need any help? Exactly after lunch. At 2 p.m. when the sleep is... If you get stuck before lunch, you are stuck until the end of the day. Right? So right after lunch, ask them, hey, what's up? I should not be, what's up? What's up? Can I help? Huh? I got this from a CTO in a Serbian company. He was literally doing that, right? He was say, "Hi, I'm in this Teams meeting. Anyone if needs to have a chat, I'm here for half an hour. I don't have anything to do." His agenda was packed. But he was just saying, "Hey," and at least he routed the question to the ones that should know how to help the guy. Make sense what I'm saying? Should be safe to ask questions. That's the first basic thing that you should have in your environment. And then she was sitting there, and you asked about fear of failure. For any non-trivial problem, the first solution is always wrong. How comforting is this? You feel good now? Yay! So, how do you get over that? Well, to play the card in the following, to continue the discussion, if you are afraid to take chances, afraid of failure, you're going to overthink endlessly what design decision to take. How should I design this system? Anyone here spent weeks debating on how to do a certain thing? Like, this is called analysis paralysis. When you keep analyzing over all these enormous options, which are the best pros and cons, guys, we know the solution for this 25 years ago, agile. Write an MVP, iterate on that. Right? Write the silliest thing you can imagine, and then loop on that. Yeah. So it should be safe to fail. So how do you get this mindset into the company? Google said, in 1 second we are back. That was Google. Do you know what SRE means? SRE? If you know what SRE means, maybe you can trust her. If you don't listen to her. It's tricky. It's a culture. But you see, you have to be in this mindset of experimentation. You want to have this. The failures that you can afford should be, let's say, bounded. You don't afford taking down production for 1 week, but you can afford 1 second of downtime. So, but have this in your blood, in your culture, the idea of experimentation. Start every quarter a project that is supposed to fail. A prototype whose code we're gonna throw out and declare that. Yeah, have this mindset in your. This one. If you lack ideas of what to do, throw some code that you have to some AI and ask, "Hey, dog, how can I write this simpler?" He will provide some. It will provide some options. You explore those options maybe in a hackathon. I don't know. So safe to ask, safe to fail. Make sense? If you don't have these, boom. Guys, there are far more interesting books about people management, psychology. I'm not a psychologist. I'm good. But what I saw in my clean code, in my architecture, my microservice trainings, I extracted in this presentation. Right? All good. But then, survey to understand your feelings about stress at work. To ensure that no one remains stressed at work, we have made the difficult decision to part ways, which means to fire, all the employees who indicated significant stress. Real email that one of my trainees, one of my people in the group, was from South Asia. They fired the employees that at the stress survey said they were feeling stressed. It's good that they fired you in the end. What kind of environment is this? Oi, oi, oi. And now I'm talking to, where are you? I don't see you anymore, it's light. I'm talking to someone in that part of the area. When I was a young consultant, I used to do a big mistake. I would go to the companies, I would look in their legacy code, 15 years of legacy code, millions of lines of code, and scream. And speak bad words about the terrible code they were living in. It took me a while to realize that I was hurting the people next to me. They were the authors of that code. Not only that, they got to love the code that they were living in, because that's a coping mechanism for humans to survive and not go mad. They were in love with the shitty code they were living in. It's called the Stockholm Syndrome. Victims begin sympathizing with their captors. I was hurting the people, the very people I was supposed to help. It took me a while to realize. Other times, the companies are, especially outsourcing companies, are, let's say, receiving a project from abroad that they have to keep maintaining. Anyone in this position here in the room? You got a project from the Western countries to maintain. Beautiful. So it's not your fault. What can you do? It's 2 million lines of code. That code base has its own inertia, has gravity. What can you do, right? And then one day, Spartacus joins the team. The refactoring hero. Yesterday, I won't divulge any, I will not point to anyone, but yesterday I heard from someone in this room that there was this guy called Andrei. You are so many in that company. There was this guy called Andrei that if you let some code in some shape Friday evening, Monday morning you come to code and you would say, what happened in here? Andrei was single, not married, no children, no cat, no dog, no Netflix. Guess what Andrei was doing during the weekend while you were drinking? The problem was that Andrei wasn't careful enough. He wasn't skilled enough. He had front-end background, and it's not, no judging, but it's not so common to refactor. Plus, the language doesn't really help, and he broke things. In the day of the demo, nothing worked. What the fuck? Good. No, this is Spartacus, a true hero. This guy doesn't break stuff. This guy uses all the kung fu refactoring tools, AI, all sorts of tools to write tests to make sure he doesn't do bugs, but everywhere he goes, behind him, the code looks like this. Guys, this is a delicate moment. The people in the legacy code have a moral problem or some Stockholm syndrome ongoing. And then this guy comes with enthusiasm, skills, strength. God, I want that guy. And then he does this. The tech lead should be very careful how he approaches this discussion. I love what you're doing. I need your energy. This helps the morale. I need that. I want, you are gold for me. But do you realize that every other guy in the team, when he runs into this code, he was going to, what the heck is here? They will know the Spartacus, but it will add to the mental load of everyone reading the code. Right? So you have to follow the conventions of the code, no matter how shitty. So what should you use? Spartacus. Don't you want to pair program 1 hour per day with each and every one in the team? What is the goal? The goal is to increase the code quality everywhere in a consistent way, not patch it like this. So, Spartacus, won't you pair program? Who here has ever experienced pair programming? One writes, the other laughs. Come on. Pair programming, thank you. Live, and then we swap roles. He should pair program in turn with everyone in the team, given he has enough social skills. Yeah, and if he doesn't, he should train on that, right? So code should feel that it was written by a single developer to lower the cognitive load of navigating the code. Do you know what structural replace is in IntelliJ? Send yourself an email while you listen to me. I should read about structural replace in IntelliJ. It calls me. IntelliJ calls, huh? So at the end, we want productive teams, right? We want to have teams that, no matter how bright one developer is, the team will always do better because the team takes the maximum skills of every participant, right? So the team is always better than one single hero. So what do? We want, oh, by the way, good question. What relationship is there between team size and pizza? And Amazon? What relationship is there between team size, pizza, and Amazon?
Pizza should be enough for a team.
Two pizzas should be enough to feed the entire team, said the Amazon founder Jeff Bezos in 2000s. To pizza team, but mind that these are United States pizzas, which are bigger than European, so it's 7 people. No, really, true story. Why? Why small teams? Less possible communication channels. We can reach consensus. Each can talk with everyone in just 10 lines. If you have 10 people in the room, God help us all. All right? Then you cannot hide in the crowd in a call with 5 colleagues. You cannot go with the crowd like everyone says yes, so you're going to say as well, yes, of course, yes. Yeah. Who am I to say no, right? There is no such thing, right? Plus, my personal favorite, trust. We can actually understand who we're working with, know their strengths, their weaknesses. We can trust, or not, the guys in our team, right? You build this kernel of it's like a family, somehow. The second, I don't know. Good. 10 years later, this book, Drive, Daniel Pink, proposed 3 factors for human motivation. And I want to test you guys. Anyone in the room here was ever in a situation in which they were facing some code that was massively exceeding their mental capacity? Like, terrible code, what the, whoa. Okay, good. How was that day? Fun? Yeah, wife, yeah, I don't have a clue what the heck I did all day. Excellent. Mastery. If you don't have mastery, motivation is out. Okay? We can quiz for 1 month, 1 week, maybe upskill yourself a bit, but in the end, if you keep doing, you're going to feel impostor syndrome at extremo every day. This is not a way to go. Were you ever finished a task, but you had to wait 2 months for another team to finish theirs? Beautiful. He's checking all the questions. Yep, been there, done that. Yep, me again. Yeah, me here. Excellent, thank you. Indeed, you are done, but you have to wait for the front-end team to finish their work, or the upstream, whatever, blah, blah, blah. How did that feel, knowing that 2 months later, you're done now. 2 months later, they are going to call you. Yes? You know that code you've done 2 months ago? We have a bug.
Game over.
I don't know what I did last week. You asked me 2 months ago. Who the hell knows? So you knowing this today, when you are done and you can't test it, you're going to slaughter someone because it's very, very frustrating. This is, if I were to pick one skill of all for computer science, I would say the ability to focus. Right? Focus is the most important. That's why my daughter did not pass the Olympics at the Bucharest level, at informatics. She's not able to focus yet, perhaps. Focus. You have to be there in the problem. Daddy, no, there in the problem. No. And purpose. Seeing a user smiling. Huh? Seeing some, I know that not all of us. I was in Barcelona. I was consulting for a e-health company in the business of blood analysis. And there was one guy in the room, I swear to you, that told me, Victor, my software saved until today 10,000 lives. Do you feel that? 10,000 lives he and his 4 friends saved. What the fuck? Okay, we are not all in such high impact. Some of us are trying to squeeze some money from some gamblers. Others to approve a loan, to move some money to a bank. At the end of this chain, there is someone smiling, even though, right? Seeing a user smiling, seeing your impact in the world is really a game changer, especially after a certain age. You want to leave something behind. I told you that 2 years of my work, 2 years of my life, my baby were just... And here I am, survived. Okay? Now, these 2 things, the fact that you don't want to block in others and the fact that you want to see a user smiling should push you to be more full stack. But pay attention, more full stack, not full stack. Fuller stack. Which means you have your core area of expertise. This is Victor here. Could be TypeScript, I don't care. But once you reach a certain point of expertise, then you need, of course, to look around. What else is in my life? TypeScript, Sukili, cloud, whatever is there, go for it. Don't laugh, please. I'm tired. Don't laugh. So, this is what we call the T-shaped developer, right? It's a T. T-shaped. expertise and a bit of, in a nutshell, it means you are not disgusted of JavaScript. Okay, you type. Okay, good. Even front-ends do the same. They like TypeScript, you know? So when they do JavaScript, they put JavaScript. The language created in 10 days. Thank you, JavaScript. Now, based on these ideas of creating mastery, autonomy, and purpose in a team, just 5 years ago, 6 already, this team topologies ideology came to life with this book, Team Topologies. The game player, the kings in this drawing are the stream-aligned teams which are trying to ship features to users or customers as fast as they can. They are the king of this setup. And there are companies in Bucharest that are doing team topologies by the book religiously. The whole other things are trying to support these guys to ship faster features to the users. Now, every now and then we run into some very technical, geeky, nerdy thing, you know? Spring Kung Fu stuff, some GVT, kick cloak, Kubernetes, monkey, something, for which if we fall into the study of papers for 2 weeks, we will break our flow. We will get out of that mindset of shipping features and making users happy. We will just fall in love more with Kubernetes than with the users. And this is not good. Not good for these guys. But there are some of us that that prefer to fall in love, prefer to talk to Kubernetes rather than humans. Or to Spring. I was the guy, back in the days. Platform team is supporting the stream-aligned teams with services they can use autonomously. This is the key part. The stream-aligned teams should not raise the ticket and wait. Oh, I know. We will raise the ticket for the platform team. And then wait. No. Their job is to increase the autonomy of the teams, right? Providing wiki pages, common libraries, Kubernetes, self-service, something, I don't know, some tutorials, the platform team. Anyone here in the room has this concept familiar? Platform team? Why? What's funny about a platform team? Anyway, good. So you are a platform team, but you don't know what you're supposed to be doing. Many things. And then there is the enabling team, moving from team to team, trying to help everyone take the right decisions. Now, here we will have trainers and architects. Architects are seen here as supporting the teams in their decisions, not as the iron hand that says what you shall do. It's a supporting role. Upskilling and debating more delicate. Of course, sometimes the architects have to put more pressure to impose a certain consensus and homogeneity, but they are seen mainly as supporting roles. And they will move from team to team. Right? Even here, sometimes they will just upskill and train. Now, most of my clients have in the room some terrible legacy systems. Or some library, some particular part of their domain requires very specialized knowledge, like digital signal processing, mathematics, statistics. Oh my God, I've seen 5,000 lines of Python doing TensorFlow. 5,000 lines in a file of Python doing TensorFlow recently. Specialized knowledge, right? There will be a team developing that part, trying to make others not depend on them, to block on them. Should be the same self-service thing, right? All with the goal of having the stream-aligned team shipping features faster. Read more about that. It's a must-read for you guys. What's wrong in this slide? Normally, I would take your question right now, but it's late. Let's finish in time, and then we stay to talk about anything. What's wrong in this slide? Thank you. Grammar. Besides grammar, what else is wrong? Prostul nu e prost destul dacă nu e și fudul. Do you agree? Do you feel it? No matter how smart the guy is, this is antisocial behavior. Fired, but not fired, counseled. We will lay the architect on the couch and say, John, are you feeling okay? How's your family? All good? Children still drinking? This is not the architect you want. Architecture is about communication. That's why they are seen as facilitating, right? Helping with their experience, explaining pros and cons, trade-off analysis, yada, yada. Perfect. Oh my God, have you ever seen an ivory tower? Oh my God, is this magical place where unicorns and rainbow and fairies gather. Oh my God, it's a magical place. And in that magical place, the ivory tower architect lives that stopped writing code 5 years ago. But now he still dreams about the patterns we should use or libraries that we must use. This is no longer happening much, but still, just a small hand. Anyone seen such a beast, such a magical creature? 2 hands. Okay. 3 months later, he was not in my project anymore. True story? He was, swear to you, bank. He was a junior architect with a JavaScript background. Who let that guy become an architect?
Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out?
A junior coming in my team, in 1 month of pair programming with us, we had this rule, everyone joining the team, pair programs for 1 month, or 2, depending on the guy. In 1 month, the junior was kicking ass, the architect. 3 months later, goodbye. Bye. So everyone taking a decision should experience their consequences. Sounds reasonable, right? That they should use Kafka. Okay, thank you. Tell us how, in what ways can I cut my leg with Kafka? Like this, like this, like this? How? Let's play together with the chainsaw, right? Beautiful. And I have an extreme example for you guys on this. I've heard legends. I have heard legends for many years, but last year, I got to see it with my own eyes. I swear to you, I've seen what I'm about to show you here. First of all, the problem. In colonial India, the governor wanted to reduce the population of venomous cobras. And they issued a bounty for every dead cobra given into the authorities, right? At first, it was a brilliant idea. Tens of thousands of cobras were killed. Beautiful. But then, because Indians wanted to have a contiguous income for their families, population started breeding cobras. When the governor ran by such a cobra farm, he stopped. What was that? Cobra farm! What the f? He, of course, canceled the bounty. What the population did afterwards is history. They released the cobras into the wild, leading to a higher population of cobras by the end of this whole story. What the beep is going on? Thank you. So I have seen this last year in the same country. I've seen this last year, swear to you. To protect the innocence, I renamed it in God's service. 1,200 lines, 87% coverage. Oh my God, 87% coverage. Have you ever seen such a coverage in such a class? Big 1,000 lines of class? Wow, you're a hero. Or you did this. Let's see. The test had 2,000 lines. Fair point. But then it started. 67 mocks. They were mocking getters of data structures to return other mocks. Never do that. No verify and no assert in the entire class. There was no verify and no assert. I went to the production code. I destroyed the method body of 200 lines. All the tests were green. Do you know right-click generate tests? With AI, this was before AI, handmade. AI is going to put some assertions. No assertions. What the fuck? This is why, you know why? Because of the coverage. They wanted coverage. The management came and said, we shall do 85% coverage. Now! This is, and of course, I investigated a lot, and it turned out that they hired a company to write them tests. Brilliant! We externalized. So India has externalized to another company. Result. This is worse than having no tests. Do you agree? Because management sees strong coverage, green tests, ship it.
Game over.
Good. Yeah. This is an extreme example of decoupling. What happens when people follow the letter but not the spirit of the law, right? They just saw the bounty, nothing more. Blind spots in decision making. We aim for a project, but on the floor, there is this shiny object. And this shiny object could be microservices, reactive streams, Axon framework, GenAI. And then you miss the target because you go for the shiny object. Anyone been there? Hype-driven, and there is an antisocial variant, resume-driven development. Oh, I don't have microservices in my resume, in my CV. I shall do microservices next. This is antisocial, unethical. This is unethical. All right. If you were a medic, they will sue you. Really. So here, developers, however, work best if they are enthusiastic about their technology, right? Said to me an old architect, I think it was 60 years. So we want to let them play somewhere, Victor. I know. But just don't let them play in the core business. Give them some hash air support application to do micro shitty, whatever. Right, clean, simple, no vanilla in the core. Okay, father. Interesting. But what if we become the next Netflix? We have to be able to scale. Let's go reactive stream, Webflux forever. K-streams, yeah. Because what if we get successful? Huh? In the next 20 years, however, we're going to pay a lot of pain just in case we become the next Netflix. Beautiful. Beautiful. On the other extreme, there is the guy that knows very well a certain tool. It happened to me in my team. There was an SQL expert in the team, and we were about to implement a business rule. So where do you think he proposed to implement the business rule? Start procedure in a trigger called in pre-commit, and the rest was blank to me. I'm like, huh? And then I let the guy finish and ask, okay, good. But then who is going to maintain that? You. And who else? How are you going to automation test your trigger? Would you write unit test for that? How would you refactor? You have a refactoring tool for PL Sukili? Right? So, yeah. It's a pitfall. So you have to refresh on the technologies with strong arguments. And I mean, if there is a clear, obvious benefit for having Java instead of SQL, give it a try. He got burned with Hibernate, so they shall never use Hibernate again in their lives. If you escape a 15-year-old monolith, I promise you, you will never create a monolith again. Not until you drink enough. And this I just heard on the hallways. Let's decompile the code in production and diff the decompiled code with what we are about to deploy, just in case someone else deployed another jar in between. Few of you got the trauma over there. Something really bad happened at some point in history. Decompile the code you are in production, decompile the new version of the code, diff the source code. What the fuck? Quiz! Ha! First, I feel unqualified for this job. Imposter syndrome. Can't stop, I have invested too much in this. Sunk fallacy or a bad relationship. Irrational artifact attachment. Let him go. What was the faster lumberjack doing 1 hour each day? Sharpening the axe, thank you. Having endless debates on low impact things. Yes, and also bike shading I was looking. Very good. Debating 2 weeks on something that is analysis paralysis. Feeling affection for your captor. Stockholm syndrome, beautiful. Defining skill for a leader. I love my job. Empathy. 3 human motivation drivers. This is a hard one. Mastery, autonomy, purpose. To see a user smiling, ideally. How big should a team be? 2 pizza. Takes design decisions without being accountable for. Ivory Tower architect, bravo. Following the letter, not the spirit of the law. Cobra effect, bravo. Adopting blindly the latest and coolest trends. Shiny, oh, what's that? Microservices, woo. Okay. What? Azure, what? Sorry? Never mind. Solving the problem with that old tool you know so well. Golden hammer, bang with triggers, everything. I will never build a monolith again in my life. Post-traumatic, we shouldn't be making fun of PTSD really, it's a real problem from Vietnam. Oh good, make a picture. The PDF is already there, I will put the slide in the end with the QR. But yes. Who cares about this? You exit that door, no one gives a shit. Why did I spend 45 minutes when you were killed, tired? Why? Because now you can name the problems you see. There are many others. But the point is, I'm not telling you this just because I want you to leave the door and do the same stuff tomorrow. Try to see which of these are affecting the team, you, the architect, try to fix them. It is you who has the most contact with the Western, I would say more mature countries. It is you who is supposed to bring this mindset into the teams. Don't expect someone will shit you a good environment. It is us who have to build this, right? I'm talking here to tech leads, to seniors in the room, right? And with that, I thank you very much, and I wish you a wonderful evening.